Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Long Service Award ceremony. My name is Khotso Chaka. I am the Director in the Human Resource Department. On behalf of the Executive Director, HR Ms. Kwinana, I am fortunate to share the podium today with our Vice Chancellor. This function marks a show of appreciation of the university for its long-serving members, which are the 2020 recipients. Welcome to the Vice Chancellor, members of the Executive Committee, ELG members, and ladies and gentlemen. A special word of welcome to the Long Service Award recipients and their families. Your many years of service are a true testimony of your dedication to the organization, and you are truly an inspiration to young joiners like me. On behalf of the university management, thank you. This ceremony is for staff who are qualifying for award in 2020, and they've completed their service ranging from 20 years to 50 years. And what happened in 2020? In some instances, this year, 2021, it has become a version 2.0 of 2020, as there are events globally and around the world that have been postponed, cancelled, you name it, marathons, festivals, arts, culture festivals, graduation ceremonies, long service awards as well. Hence, we are here today. So UJ did not escape the disruption of the pandemic. Next, I would like to welcome our keynote speaker for today. We all know Honorable Professor Mathilisi Marwala. His biography is as long as my arm, if not 2 arms. And I would like to pick up just a few from his biography in terms of the timelines of his achievements. In 2018, Prof. Marwala was appointed and inaugurated Vice Chancellor of the University of the North, of the University of the Johannesburg.
Of the North?
Of the big city of Johannesburg. In 2019, he was appointed the Deputy Chair of a Presidential Commission on 4IR. In 2020, we all locked down in the global pandemic. If I was him, I would, in 2018, when he professed his vision for 4IR for UJ, I think in hindsight, he was not aware that it's going to be a global imperative. Hence, we are here today. Prof. Marwala, I would like to welcome you to the stage for this occasion.
Thank you very much, Khotso Chaka, our Director of Human Resources. I also would like to acknowledge the presence of our Chief Operating Officer, Professor Andre Swart. I also would like to acknowledge Ms. Tokoza Kwinana in her absence. And also I would like to congratulate all these people for whom we are here today. We are here to honor you this morning for the great work that you have done for the University of Johannesburg. We are heading towards the end of quite a grueling year. The last 2 years have been defined by challenges that none of us could have anticipated. Phrases such as unprecedented, uncharted, and uncertain have been bandied around as we search desperately for descriptors of these strange times. It has been a great source of pride for me to be at the helm of the University of Johannesburg, and the university has persevered with such tenacity and integrity, and I thank especially the people we are going to honor today for their contribution towards that. We come here today to honor you for your long service to the university. As the 20th century American author Robert Collier famously said, and I quote, "Success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out," close quote. The University of Johannesburg came into being in 2005 as part of the massive restructuring of the higher education landscape. Many of you have been with us since then. Many of you have been with us long before then. Ours is a rich history, a tapestry of institutions that came to radically dismantle former apartheid structures and reduce the number of higher education institutions in the system. You all have been a crucial part of that vision. A long service award is not merely a clocking of years spent at an institution. It represents the role you have played in molding the university. This strikes me as even more historic now as we celebrate this achievement against an admittedly difficult context. What strikes me is the passion you have all for this institution, regardless of the time past and the challenges we have had to weather. Today, remarkably, we come together to celebrate a total of 111 Long Service Award recipients that have uninterrupted service for 20 years or more. We even celebrate a recipient who has spent 50 years with us. At the heart of UJ's machine are, of course, our staff. Without you, this institution will cease to be. While some things have remained static in the last 14 years, many things have actually changed. We have seen the evolution of UJ. Still, with excellence in mind, we have entered a new era, one defined by the pandemic and intense and immense technological change. You have seen the university go through changes and incredibly adapted to it all. Universities are synonymous with the creation of new knowledge, with leading the field in terms of knowledge development, and with triggering and embracing innovation and contributing to meaningful positive change in society. When I reflect on what keeps me at the university, I beamed with pride. We have time and time again risen to seemingly impossible tasks. The last year has certainly been a shift in mindset for us. We have had to speed up our transition into the fourth industrial revolution, necessitated by the national lockdown and the need to work differently and remotely. But rising to a challenge is nothing new to the University of Johannesburg. We have been reimagining the future since our inception. Our values and principles are predicated on excellence that we have achieved through innovation and hard work. Since the first rumblings of COVID-19, UJ has been agile responsive, and constantly aligning itself with national strategies. It is because of this reason that the University of Johannesburg was the first university to finish the academic year in the year 2020, and was the first university to begin the academic year in the year 2021. Despite a seemingly insurmountable challenge, we have certainly seen success. In fact, just this week, this was affirmed by the Stu Docu World University Ranking 2021, which found that University of Johannesburg notched up a high ranking in our efforts to enable remote learning. We scored an impressive score of 9 out of possible 10 points. The annual survey is based on responses from university students, the chance to rate their institutions on everything from academic reputation to campus safety. Recently, our stakeholder report asserted, and I quote, "The pandemic challenged UJ to draw on its 4IR-related knowledge and expertise in developing not only the normal workplace, but indeed the institution," close quote. This is affirmation that we have indeed been heading in the right direction. These awards symbolize the time you have been given to help us as we pursue those values and principles. Your talents and efforts already have helped us achieve excellence for many, many years. This is not always an easy road to work for a higher education institution. In South Africa, this challenge is particularly exacerbated by our socio-economic context. We often see the struggle of students first in their families at university. We see an array of students from different backgrounds. We see those who struggle and those who soar. The pandemic has certainly exacerbated these challenges and has laid bare the digital divide. We have faced the insurmountable challenges of fees must fall, of a changing era, of a country with a growing unemployment rate and bleak economic prospects, and of the pandemic. Through it all, our faculty and support staff have played a crucial role in wading through these challenges and coming out stronger. Long service awards are not only in celebration of you, but of the university too. We share in this achievement with you. It shows your unwavering faith in this institution. None of this, of course, would be possible without each and every one of you. Our achievements are not by accident. They are purposeful and based on hours of hard work and energy. They are in line with UJ's spirit of innovation and a sense of community. Thank you for your years of service. We look forward to the next few decades with some of you and reflecting on the legacy of those of you who worked to build this vibrant university that is going to continue to shape our society and define our future. I thank you very much. Ngiyabonga, bayadanki, kiyalibuwa.
Thank you, Professor Marwala. Thank you, the principal of the University of Johannesburg, the university that is growing in leaps and bounds, as indicated. Um, to the recipients of the awards, the long service awards, as Prof. Marola has indicated, your contributions will be recorded as part of the rich history of this university. Thank you again for your kind words, Prof, and your sense of leadership with your management team. Your sense of vision is inspiring. It's, as I indicated, for newcomers and new joiners like myself, who is only 3 years here, going for the 3rd year, actually. The next item, we will be looking into the names of the recipients. This, as Prof. Marola has indicated, we are celebrating with 111 recipients for 2020. These are the people who have joined the university between the years of 1970 to 2000 that we are celebrating with. Some of us were still in our crawling stages, but here we are together celebrating the vision that Prof. Marola has for the university. Let's watch and celebrate with the recipients.
I will be reading a list of staff members who qualified for Long Service Awards in 2020. For the category 20 years, we have the following staff members: Ms. Haneli Duplessis, Mrs. Santha Gedalt, Mr. Abraham Itani, Mr. Joseph Jacobs, Dr. Yacinda James, Mr. Jabulani Kumalo, Dr. Gert Kruger, Mr. Ike Coopers, Ms. Magie Langedijk, Dr. Thomas Lowe, Mrs. Sibongile Majola, Mr. Gideon Martins, Mr. Molife Mehwe, Mrs. Tsegofatso Mogitle, Mr. Phineas Mokwadeti, Mrs. Kamchi Naidu, Mrs. Rochelle Niemand, Miss Susara Charlotte Niemand, Mr. Jake Olivier, Professor Aletta Prinsloo, Mrs. Prudence Pulenlala, Mrs. Elizabeth Radley, Dr. Radmila Razloff, Mr. Brian Sehani, Dr. Karen Steenkap, Mr. Arthur Tester, Miss Elizabeth Vermeulen, and Dr. Christopher Yelverton. Staff members who qualified for 25 years of service in 2020 are Mrs. Marina Bota, Mrs. Johanna Berger, Professor Alban Burke, Miss Nyamutowa Chipeya, Mr. Willem de Beer, Mrs. Motlatsi Dlamini, Mrs. Elaine Duplessis, Mr. Grant Gamon, Mrs. Doreth Heineke, Mr. Brett Jansen van Vieren, Mrs. Lerica Leroux, Dr. Joy Christine Langalumu, Miss Mapula Mabitsela, Dr. Mohadi Maleka, Miss Miriam Matli, Mrs. Nontlantla Mazibuko, Miss Charity Mhlongo, Mrs. Marianne Minar, Mr. Jeffrey Moss, Mr. Helmon Ngwenya, Mr. Mkupe Nkosi, Mrs. Nicolette Olivier, Dr. Christian Pence, Mr. Xolisile Qaku, Mr. Makado Ramavoya, Mr. Stephanus Skuman, Mr. Reginald Vusumzi Shandu, Mr. Peter Klaus Stackelhaus, Professor Josephine Martina Ace, Mr. Martinus van der Veld, Professor Craig Vincent Lambert, and Mrs. Johanna Etricia Vivers. Staff members who qualified for 30 years of service in 2020 are Mr. Edmund Bengu, Mrs. Yvette Boyce, Mrs. Marietta Briet, Mr. Shikanda Vuma, Professor Frederick Cross, Mrs. Aleta Jacoba Divet, Mr. Joel Dube, Mr. Richard Dunjwa, Mr. Isaac Lihatle, Miss Stefina Mabala, Mr. Mkhatsane Maluleke, Miss Gloria Mamela, Mr. Mayeza Mangia, Mr. Roswell Mangia, Mr. Mugiyo Thompson Mkansi, Mr. Johannes Mukwena, Mr. Edmund Murapeli, Mr. Peter Mosela, Mr. Simon Chabeleng, Mr. Idan Gideon Nekalale, Mrs. Johanna Niemann, Mr. Sipho Nkosi, Miss Johanna Rambau, Mr. Magezi Sithole, Mrs. Elsie Maria Taylor, Professor Modok Watney, Mrs. Margaret Voters, Miss Agnes Xaba. Staff members who qualified for 35 years of service in 2020 are Mr. Colin Bulala, Mr. Johannes Chacha, Mr. March Edwards, Mrs. Krista Haman, Mrs. Thandi Martha Khoza, Prof. Hendrik Lotter, Mr. Nelson Mampeu, Mr. Dingan Masuku, Mrs. Nonsikelelo Mkhize, Professor Annemarie Oldewache, Mr. Stephen Phale, Mr. Mandla Moses Chabalala, Mrs. Nontlantla Winnie Chabalala, Professor Ben Eric van Wyk. For 40 years of service, we have the following recipients. Professor Elizabeth Marie Ellis, Miss Magdalena Stradom, and Professor Griekie Verhoef. For 50 years of service with the employment with UJ, we have Professor Sebastian von Soloms. Members of the Executive Leadership Group and invitees who qualified for Long Service Awards are, for 20 years, it's Professor Dorothea de Wet, for 35 years, we have Professor Amanda Dempsey, for 30 years, we have Dr. Johannes Joe Manyaka. For 25 years, we have Professor Rory Ryan. For 30 years, we have Professor Sarah Gravett. We thank the staff members who received the awards today for their long service and dedication to the UJ achievements. We also thank their families for their support. Thank you.
Our Vice-Chancellor, our Long Service Awards recipients, our colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, please also allow me to use this opportunity to extend a warm word of sincere thanks and appreciation to all of our colleagues, our recipients here today. Your ongoing commitment, your support and contributions over the years is much valued. I think, Vice-Chancellor, colleagues, we've alluded to the fact that we've got 111 recipients here today. I just added up the years of the combined service, and it adds up to 3,000 years, literally 3,000 years. Now, I know many of the mathematicians in the university will ask me, Andre, what does that mean for us? I don't know, but it sounds very impressive, and I'm just going to stick to the 3,000 years. It's really wonderful, I think, in taking that forward. But I think I need to highlight that organizations add value and achieve recognition because of their staff. It's not because of the organization, it's because of the contribution of the staff. And there's no doubt in my mind that, Vice-Chancellor, our staff remains our most important and our most valuable resource within the institution. And I think we've always got to remember that. And as you've also alluded to in your speech, in your comments, the value these colleagues have added to the university where we are today. And I want to reiterate that point, where the university, the recognition we receive as a university, the standing we've got nationally, internationally as a university, It's because of the commitment, the talent, the ongoing contribution, such as the colleagues that we've witnessed here today with their long service awards. Many congratulations to all on achieving this work anniversary with us, and we are extremely proud and privileged to have you as part of the UJ family. Let me also use this opportunity to thank everybody who've contributed to this event here today. Your contributions is also much valued. Once again, colleagues, many congratulations. Thank you very much for your ongoing support, the support over the years in making UJ what it is today. Stay safe and take care, colleagues. Thank you very much.
Thank you to Prof. Swart, our COO, with those wonderful warm words and encouragement to be safe in the pandemic we are living with. Thanks to the Vice Chancellor, Professor Marwala, as well, and the COO for your gratitude to the recipients of long service awards today, as well as for your leadership in your visionary inspiration of the members and the employees of this university. Thank you also to the members of Executive Committee of University of Johannesburg, the ELG members that joined online today. And also the special thanks to the people who organized this event, from the security to the logistics team to the HR, Bernice Brownlee and your team. Thank you very much. With the communication to our recipients. The HR team, thank you, Betsy, on behalf of the Executive Director, Human Resources, as well as your team. Just as a last word of announcement, University of Johannesburg, on its recognition of this long service and this function, there are certificates that are issued for members who are receiving this honor. And the gifts as well have been prepared. The communication will come from my HR team during the week, but from beginning of the middle of next week, from Wednesday, this can be collected, and also further details will be communicated on emails to those who are remote. Thank you to all. It's an honor and a privilege to be standing here today. Thank you to the recipients. Thank you to your leadership, Prof. Swart and Prof. Marwala. Thank you.